Dame Cathedral, which has been fully restored after the devastating fire 5 years ago. He added that French President Emmanuel Macron has done a wonderful job ensuring Notre Dame has been restored to its full level of glory. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and I hope you join us because this is going to be a very interesting discussion where we're going to learn and grow together. And I just know you're going to have a lot to say about it because we're already getting comments that are coming in. But first, I don't want to forget this, okay? Our producer, Michael McCall, today is his birthday. So when you call up and you speak to Matt Gabinski, I'm going to start sneezing. Maybe that's good luck for Michael today. I don't know why. That's so interesting. Okay, so when you call up and speak to Matt Gabinski, wish Michael, our producer, a happy birthday. I won't tell you how old he is, but he's young. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, and we're so happy. So, Michael, we are saying a prayer to God today that thanking God that you were born because you definitely make this world a better place. So that's our producer's birthday today, and you know what he said right before we started the show? He said, I hope we get a lot of calls because I want to celebrate my birthday in a grand style. So yes, fill up those phone lines, not just for Michael, but because of the topic that I'm about to introduce. But happy birthday, Michael. Okay, so first of all, I want to say the saint of the day is Saint Francis Xavier. If you don't know the story of this great saint, please learn it and see how it can apply to your life. So I think the lives of the saints are very important, and we need to learn from them and imitate them so that we can get to heaven. Okay, so here's the question. Get ready for this. I'm going to make sure my earbuds are in. I'm going to make sure I'm not sneezing because I've got a lot to say about this. And I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't know why. It must be because there's seasonal changes here in Arizona. But here's the question. Why do we have a problem with the word obey? Why do we have a problem with the word obey? Maybe you don't think we have a problem. I do. I definitely do. And I have thoughts on this, but I want to hear from you. We're already got a great comment that has come in from Elizabeth on social media. So thank you so much. And I'm waving to everybody, Facebook, YouTube, all the socials. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks for the prayers. I am feeling better for the most part. My eyes are still hanging in there, but I do need that miracle. Life is good. I'm still vertical. And so that's a good thing. But here's the number to call if you want to get in on this discussion or wish Michael a happy birthday. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, that's the number to call. Matt is waiting to answer the call. I believe Ace is on social media. We'll double check that. So we've got the social media is going. Also, you can text us if you want to make a comment about this topic, about the problem that people have with the word obey. You say the word obey and people cringe. It's like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't know I said such a bad word. And that's how they feel. So you can text, if you have a comment, text the letters EWTN to 58177. You wait for our response. Then you text us your first name and your brief question or comment about the word obey. Just know that message and data rates may apply. So, that's the question I'm asking today. Why do we have a problem with the word obey? If you don't think we do, call in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. You can just give us your thoughts on this. I really want to hear from you because I think this is an important topic and something that we should discuss. Please excuse me. I'm not going to go on mute, so I'm trying to make sure I can hold on for this episode because I got to tell you, it's interesting. Seasonal allergies are terrible. They're terrible. You can't, I mean, your eyes are watering, you get headaches. I mean, is anybody else going through this? I mean, it's just, it's brutal. But you know what? I'm not complaining. Don't worry about that. Okay. So here's the question again, if you just tuned in. This is what I'm asking the Take Two family. Phone lines are just starting to light up. Don't forget to wish Michael a happy birthday. Why do we have a problem with the word obey? See, I'm going to say it like 5 times, and you're going to see. You might just, in your interior, deepest part of your being, you're like, ooh, that's a creepy word, obey. Why? Why is it so creepy these days? There's a reason, I think, and I think we can help to make it a better world by having discussions like this. So all you have to do is call in 833-288 EWTN 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. And I'm going to get to the phones. I'm going to get to the phones after the first break because I've got a little bit of just a couple little housekeeping notes here. First one is we're back on Facebook. So EWTN Global Catholic Radio, I believe the Facebook handle is. So find us there and like us there, share it with friends. Let's build the network there. I love that, to have that Facebook option. Also, we're on YouTube. I'm waving to you guys. Thanks so much. And I wanted to share with you that this coming weekend, I was supposed to be in Allen, Texas at the Fullness of Truth Spiritual Warfare Conference. I was one of the speakers with Adam Bly. I'm unable to travel and be there in person because of the eye issues. I would need assistance, and Marty would have to come with me. And so I am not going to be there, so I'm sorry. I know I'm getting a lot of messages from Take Two listeners that you actually have registered, and so that we can hang out together and I can meet you and stuff. But I'm so sorry. I didn't plan on this. But I am sending a video presentation on angels that I think you'll really like. So I am sending that in, a virtual presentation. I'm sorry. I hope to be back in the spring and maybe at another Fullness of Truth conference. I believe those conferences are anointed. So it's in Allen, Texas this weekend, Spiritual Warfare Conference. Kathleen Beckman's going to be speaking, Matthew Leonard, Father Dan Rehill, Adam Bly. So please, if you can still register, I would. And all the information's at fullnessoftruth.org, fullnessoftruth.org. Okay, and the other thing I want to share with you real quickly is Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. We're going to be posting things for Advent, and we've got an Advent, please forgive me, not an Advent. We've got Advent things to post, but we've got a free webinar coming up on taking the boot camp challenge for having your best year ever. Adam and I are going to be doing a boot camp challenge webinar. It's in just a couple weeks away. It's free. All the information is at standtalltoday.com, standtalltoday.com. And there's a special offer there as well for those that visit the website. So please maybe sign up for that webinar because we'd like to have the best year ever. But we're talking about the word obey today. Why do people have such a problem with it? Please call in.
This is Father Mitch Pacwa. Do you have questions about church teachings and history? Then join me on Open Line Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon, 3 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Hi, I'm Doug Keck. This is an EWTN bookmark brief, speaking with my good friend, Father Mitch Pacwa, about his latest book, St. Paul on the Power of the Cross, available naturally through our EWTN religious catalog. Father, St. Paul on the Power of the Cross. Why did you write this book? Why is it important today to people to read it?
So many Catholics removed the crosses from the church and put the theology of the cross far away from understanding Mass or understanding our lives. Mm-hmm. And this is something that is essential. Suffering hasn't gone away in our world. And to be able to understand our suffering through the cross of Jesus and unite our suffering with Him on the cross, this is something that St. Paul taught and that we need to live.
St. Paul on the Power of the Cross, published proudly by EWTN. Check it out and check us out next time right here for an EWTN bookmark brief. Thanks.
EWTN Radio is all over social media. All your favorite programs are available right now. Check us out on X at EWTN Radio. Remember, EWTN is everywhere.
Protecting the sanctity of life. This is EWTN Radio.
Okay, the question today is, why do we have such a problem with the word obey? Even when you hear it at Mass, in a homily or in readings or something of that nature, to submit or be submissive or obey, it's just, people just don't feel comfortable sitting there listening to it. And I really want to know why. So I'd love to hear from you. So don't sit this out and don't think somebody else is going to make the phone call for you. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. Just please let us know your thoughts on it, because what you have to say is very important. Remember, you're the teachers here, so it's super important. And all you have to do is dial this number, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. You will speak to Matt, and Ace is on social media, and we're going to get to our first caller in just a moment. It's Abraham, but hold on, don't go anywhere, because I want to share some things with our listeners. I did just get a message saying, is it true you're doing a free webinar? Yes, a free webinar this month. It's all the information is at standtalltoday.com, standtalltoday.com. But sign up, it's going to be really good. Okay. Well, I think it's going to be really good. So we have a lot planned for that. I wanted to share with our listeners, before we get to Abraham, Amazon Echo. Amazon Echo is a smart speaker that allows you to use just your voice. You can listen to EWTN radio just by saying, Alexa, play EWTN radio. And check out the Amazon Echo today. Just want to let you know, our Alexa is permanently on timeout in the closet. It's so weird. It's got like a mind of its own. I don't particularly trust Alexa, but this is a great this is a great idea to get this. If you guys like it, I think it's an awesome way to get EWTN radio. My particular Alexa, she's got a character flaw. Okay, let's go to Abraham from Kansas on iHeart Radio. Hi, Abraham. Welcome to the program.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, my take on why I think that we have such a problem with the word obey is because we falsely believe that we are in charge of our own destiny, and the only ones that we need to obey is self.
So
what
you
do you
believe
think of that?
What you're saying, that the only ones we need to obey is ourselves? Is that what you said?
Well, that's. I think that's what the belief is with most people that have the problem with the word obey, is because they don't. They feel like they're in charge, and if they're in charge, then the only person that needs to obey is themselves, not anybody else. Don't tell me what to do. Attitude.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's interesting, Abraham. So that this society of this kind of rebellious, kind of, you're right. Don't tell me what to do, but almost like it's a problem if you do speak and try to correct anyone, and just to help them, to really help them and to guide them. It becomes an immediate fight, it's odd. My husband and I saw it at a restaurant. We saw it at a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's like people are afraid to even speak to other people because you're afraid you're going to, I don't know, poke the bear or something and just make the person just become enraged. And that's what, you do see that a lot, that people are on edge. They don't want to be told what to do. Now, do you think that comes out of the way the world is training us and conditioning us, and the lack of God in places, and the fact that everybody and demonic things are just out in the open? Do you think that's a reason that it's happening? Or do you think it's because, now hold on, Abraham, don't go anywhere. Okay. Because Elizabeth Yeah, okay. So Elizabeth said this. Now, just let me read this to you and to our audience, and you tell me what you think, because I'm on the same kind of line of thinking as Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, I imagine one reason people might have a problem with that word obey might be that they have had very little, if any, experience with strong, wise leaders in their lives. A theory, if we have problems with obedience, it might be because we have met very few people who inspire obedience, and or we have not been consistently taught by word and by example to value proper obedience. See, I'm with Elizabeth. I don't think we have enough heroes out there. I don't think we have enough people we can trust. I don't think we have enough people that we look up to. I think when we do look up to some people, when they fall, it's so devastating to us. And it's like, well, I'm not trusting anybody. And so I'm going to do my own thing because at least I know me. What do you say to that, Abraham?
Well, I agree. I agree with her in that aspect. I mean, look at the television commercials where the guys are being encouraged to use body wash and make themselves soft and tender, turn themselves basically into a woman. There's no strength. You see a couple walking down the street, and the guy is on the inside, the girl's on the outside protecting the guy, or you see the woman, and I'm not taking anything away from women, but women driving the guys around, and they get down and go inside to the store or whatever, and the guy just sits on his posterior inside the car waiting to be told what to do next.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, do you think some guys like that? Because I do know some men like to be, just taken care of. I mean, so how do you, I guess my point is like, do you think that, okay, so I think what I'm hearing you say is that men need to be men and do the things that men know very well how to do, to protect and to provide and to be caring in that way, and to, do kind of the quote unquote heavy lifting of things. And women need to be more of that nurturer and that person that knows how to really, maybe really connect emotionally in various ways. Are you saying that men should be authentically men and women should be authentically women?
I think that to a degree. Because we're supposed to be able to complement each other, support each other. But whenever a society is telling the guy to trim his fingernails and free his body of any body hair and be like a woman, is taken away from the man's position.
Gotcha. So the men are losing their manhood, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. And whenever, the woman has to stand up for herself. And in most cases, the way I see it, I'm from the old school. I like opening doors. I like taking care of the lady that I happen to be with at that particular time, being single. That's the way I grew up, and all this softening of men is sad.
Okay, so just relating it back to the topic that we're discussing today about obeying, are you saying, Abraham, that if men would start acting like real men, then you're talking about chivalry and stuff like that, being proper men, that would encourage others to look up to them, and then there would be probably maybe a healthy order of things. So there would be a type of obedience to that authority. Are you saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth.
That's my job, Abraham. Yeah, no, but I agree with you on so many levels with this, because I go back to this. I miss the days when we had John Paul II with us walking this earth. I miss the days when we had Mother Teresa walking this earth. I miss those days, and I just feel like I look around and I'm like, wow, I just don't see many heroes and people to look up to. So it's unfortunate. But Abraham, that you got us started on this conversation, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So hopefully you'll free that line and have a blessed Advent, and then you'll listen, because Lorraine is up next, and I want you to hear what everybody else is saying, because you're going to add to that. So we heard from Elizabeth, who weighed in on social media, then Abraham, now Lorraine from Scribner, Ontario, on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Debbie. It's Scriber.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm sorry. It's say it one more time. It's South Scriber.
It's Scriber, yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let me just share something with you. My dear sweet friends, Laura and Glenn Sweet, they're probably listening. They're from Scribner, and that's why it was on my mind. So please forgive me, but they're coming into town for Christmas, and I can't wait to see them. So
yay, right on.
Yeah, welcome,
Debbie,
welcome, Lorraine.
No need to apologize. Hey, no need to apologize. And the poor fellow Matt, he called me Maureen instead of Lorraine, because it's hard to hear my voice sometimes, and I'm old.
Oh, no,
anyway,
you're not. No, you're not. You're young at heart. That's right. So you go ahead. What do you think about Abraham's comment and Elizabeth's comment and my comment?
First of all, on a sad note, could I ask for prayers for my brother Joseph Christopher Dobish, who he died of euthanasia September 5th of this year.
Oh, no.
And we have euthanasia up here. It's the way to go, it seems. And so, yeah, prayers for his soul, please.
Okay, absolutely. Let me pull out the book as you're talking. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. That just breaks my heart.
The healing for our family now, too. Our family is messed up over it, too.
Sure.
Because nobody wanted it. None of us wanted it.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay, definitely. Okay, I've got him in the book. So, Lorraine, tell me what you think about this word obey.
Oh, man. Hey, in my younger days, I'm a recovered alcoholic addict, so my younger days was break the rules, obey or else. Are you kidding? I was raised in the faith and loved my faith, but when I was a teenager, I saw that, nobody else seemed to care, and I discovered the way I went. However, I've been sober and clean for a long time, and there's a lot of heroes out there, my friends, just in my neighborhood. And real heroes, they're not out there on social media. They're very humble. They do their thing. My life is full of heroes. I'm so grateful. But to obey is freedom. Not or else anymore. It's freedom. If I obey the laws of traffic, I don't get arrested by the cops. I don't get tickets if I obey those laws. The Bible, God tells us to obey our rulers and not, except, of course, if they're unjust laws. There's a choice of obeying good laws and unjust laws. So for me, it's like the commandments are not suggestions. Simply just said they're just suggestions. The 10 Commandments, they're good spiritual laws. If we all obeyed the commandments, what in the world it would be? But however, when someone says, well, these are just suggestions and all that, God's law and our faith, what we're taught, it's like if I don't obey, wholeheartedly what God says and what I learned from you folks, His goodness all about me. It'd be like, I'm jumping out of the plane. I got the parachute on, and the instructor says, I suggest you pull the ripcord to open your parachute, because I've crashed and burned in my life by doing it my way. And there's a saying, there's a lot of people on their way to hell saying, I did it my way. And I've learned that, if Jesus' infinite stability, these are not my words, okay? These are words of Jesus' infinite stability. If God's not in first place, nothing is in its right place. And success, no, not to be successful. Our world is so about successful. It's to be faithful. So bless you for that, and please keep my brother in prayers. And I am a sad and happy person. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was powerful, very powerful, and we needed to hear it. So I appreciate you weighing in on this and sharing about it. I agree with you that when we get out of line, when we don't obey the rules and the guidelines for how things should be conducted in this world, it's chaos. We know that. We know that. All you have to do is go to a concert. Okay, when you see multiple lines of people going into an arena, and if anybody does anything out of line, it's mass chaos. It's just crazy. I've seen it. I used to see it all the time just down in at the arena down in Phoenix where I lived. We had even this is for basketball games, and I remember one time there was this problem with people just not wanting to wait, and they were impatient and they wanted to get into the arena. It's probably because it's hot out here in the desert, and it was just mass chaos. The authorities could not get it back under control because people refused to obey the rules of how the arena authorities set it up. And so you look at something like that and then just apply that to the world in a bigger way, and you're like, wow, I can see why we are totally off course. But I just want to thank you for sharing with us today. I appreciate it. I'm going to move to our next caller in just a couple minutes right after we hit the pause button, but I want to give the number a couple more times so we can get full phone lines on this discussion. Why do we have trouble with the word obey? Why do we have a problem with the word obey? That's the question I'm asking today. Great takes on this. You guys are the catechists. This is your show, so call in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. 833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986. And I will be right back with more of your calls today on why do we have a problem with the word obey?
The EWTN radio listener comment line is open right now for you. If you've got a question or comment about what you hear on EWTN radio, we'd love to hear it. Call 205-795-5773. We'd also like to know how our programming has impacted your life or the life of someone you know. That number again, 205-795-5773. And thank you for listening to EWTN Radio.
Father Benedict Rochelle.
I'm going to tell you about the most abused woman I ever met in my life. You know her name as Roe, as in Roe versus Wade. I talked to Roe. This woman is a great penitent. This woman is a humble person who was deeply hurt. She was kneeling in the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception, the National Shrine in Washington, when I met her. And I thought, what reverence. I didn't know who this woman was, but she was praying with reverence, with great fervor. And I asked a priest friend of mine, who is that? And he says, oh, that's Roe. God is not mocked. This woman was abused by those who propagate the killing of children.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
Along with the great Catholic content on the Laudante app, you can listen to the EWTN radio live stream. Open the Laudante app, then click on EWTN.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers. Join me for Beacon of Truth today at 4 p.m. Eastern.
On the next Beacon of Truth, we're talking about Thanksgiving and beyond the meal. Soulful Psalm as well, 145.
Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
What a great discussion we're having today on the word obey. It just makes me want to go out and drive I can't drive my car right now because I'm having eye troubles. But if I was going to go drive my car, I would definitely obey the street lights and everything. And see, it makes me want to be a a better person out there in the world? Does it make you, when you were talking about topics like this? You have great takes on it, by the way. You guys are doing great. We only have one open phone line at 833-288-EWTN. Please call in if you have a problem with the word obey, if you've got a take on it, a theory on it. I want to hear from you. I'm going to get back to the phones. Jennifer's up next. Jennifer, don't go anywhere. I just have to do this. Congratulations, and a shout out is going out to our long-time EWTN radio partner, Iowa Catholic Radio. Wow, with 8 stations serving Iowa, is celebrating 18 years with EWTN. Congratulations to Joe Teeling and Jeff Gust and their great team at Iowa Catholic Radio from your friends here at EWTN. Wow. That's a lot of souls are being reached with Catholic Radio. By the way, end of the year, winter pledge drives, end of the year appeals, Giving Tuesday, all sorts of things are happening with affiliates around the country. I know that Guadalupe Radio Network is in the middle of a 5-day, this is the second day of 5 days of pledge drive. Please, when your station comes to you and says, we are asking for funds because we are listener supported, please step up. We want to make the best 2025 ever with having Catholic Radio going strong, and that's a good thing. Jennifer has been waiting so patiently in Warwick, New York on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Are you hearing me okay?
Oh, yeah, perfectly.
Okay, great. Well, I wanted to just call and give a testimony. I experienced religious abuse as a child, not in the Catholic faith. And so I really rejected, I didn't even like to say the word obey to my children when they were young. Mm-hmm. And I really think I made a mistake. I mean, you do better when you know better. But I found a Catholic therapist 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And she pretty quickly, and I'm pretty teachable, and I think she knew that, so she pretty quickly went into how I was actually hurting my children by not teaching them the word and what's behind it and why it's important. And they weren't safe, really, in a lot of ways. And so 3 years ago, I started turning around the Titanic, it feels. By then I had a 14, 12, and 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. My now 15-year-old has had problems since he was 2. I didn't even want to tell him the word no. And he's been, since about 3, you name it, oppositional defiant, conduct disorder. It's become a real challenge. And I'm not saying that I am to blame, but I would absolutely do it differently. And I think that word and what it means is something we all as parents need to look into a little more closely. And I would encourage other parents to do that based on my experience. I hurt my children.
Well, but I understand you're sharing that, you went and you got the necessary help to heal through what you've been through. But what you went through, you said you experienced this, and you were a child at the time. My heart breaks that you were at the receiving end of that kind of abuse, because that should never happen, especially when it's something that is revolves around religion or the church or God or anything of that nature.
Contaminates God. Yeah,
it sure does. Yeah. And so my heart breaks. So I know you're saying this, and you're kind of taking accountability for, how you decided to raise your children, but I really wouldn't be so hard on yourself on that. I really wouldn't, because you weren't doing anything intentionally to hurt your children. You were actually trying to help your children and save your children from any harm that they could experience because of what you went through. So I really just honor you for that, because you're a survivor. And you are. And that's a good thing. And your kids should see how strong you are, and they will see as they get older how strong. Yeah. But if you,
I think so too. And it wasn't too late. It never is. But,
right.
Just the other day I said to my therapist, it just seems so hard, and I feel like we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And she said, it's only been 3 years that you've been making these changes, so give yourself a break and see the progress. progress, not perfection, and thank God. And I married a Catholic. I became Catholic 7 or 8 years ago.
Beautiful.
I love the faith.
Beautiful.
And yeah, and it's really been such a gift for me.
Yeah.
But I do tend to be hard on myself, so I appreciate that. Kind of goes probably along with the childhood.
Yeah, but most people are hard on themselves. We're our own worst enemies. So we just we get in our own way, and it's terrible. And God doesn't want that for us. And the one thing I just would share is that the only thing, and I think you know this, and I'm sure your therapist has said this probably many times, the only thing that's so important is right now, what we're doing right now. And you're doing what is needed, what is the right thing, what is the wholesome thing, the good thing. And that's all that matters. If we look backwards and try to fix everything, if we worry about the future, we're all going to be a mess. We have to stay in the moment. And when we do, we can find great joy. And I can hear that in your voice, that you have that joy. And it's just, I want that for you continuously. So anyway, I had to share that. I can hear it in your voice, and you're a beautiful soul. I just love that you're home to Holy Mother Church, and that is wonderful. Thanks be to God that you met a great Catholic man, and that's wonderful.
It was really my daughter who, when she was in Catholic school, and I'm worried about you, Mom. I want you to become Catholic, and I didn't do it right away, but I did eventually, and I love the faith, and I feel it's a gift for me that I came to it later, even because of my appreciation for it.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool. And you have 2 children? Is that what you have? 2? 3. Wow, nice. Yeah. So it's a pretty big family these days. So that's good.
Could you put me in the prayer book for my middle guy? He's really
he's struggling.
He's pretty and always has.
Okay. So a couple things. Okay, Jennifer, I want you to go to Padre Pio. Okay. You're in New York. Find one of the shrines that there. I think there's a couple of them, or in Pennsylvania. Find a shrine that has Padre Pio relics. Get some prayer cards. Touch them to the relics. Make it a 3rd-class relic. Put it underneath his mattress where he sleeps. Go to Padre Pio to help you with your son.
Okay, I'm familiar with him.
Oh, you are? Good.
I love the faith, so it's kind of, but I've read a couple things about him, a couple books, so
good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you one better than that, Jennifer. I have a feeling, see, there's a reason why this is all happening right now. Okay. After you get to know him and you know his story, maybe consider praying to be one of his spiritual daughters, because he takes on you, your husband, and all your kids.
That's great. That's hopeful and exciting.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, and you'll get confirmation. Now, it did take me a couple years to get confirmation. I was praying. Can I be your spiritual daughter? I thought he kept rejecting me because he was like, you're too much trouble. But then I finally got confirmation at a Fullness of Truth conference, and so it was as clear as a bell. You'll get confirmation, and then you'll have to call back and tell us.
Okay, I will. Thank you, and I hope your eye feels better.
Thank you.
You mentioned it like it's no big deal, but I'm sure it's a big deal. So I'll be praying for you.
Thank you. It is a big deal. I can barely see, but I'm hanging in there. But thank you, Jennifer. God bless you, and thanks for the prayers. I put you all in the book, and keep us posted. Okay. Beautiful call from Jennifer. I just love her already. Okay, we're going to go to Doug from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota on Real Presence Radio. Doug's been waiting so patiently, wants to talk about the word obey. Hi, Doug.
Hello.
Hello, go right ahead.
Happy birthday, Mike. I didn't get to tell him happy birthday. So as soon as this subject came up, I've memorized 1 Corinthians 15:56.
Mm-hmm.
It says, the power of sin is in the law. So kind of mysterious, but I've pondered it a lot. And to simplify it, I just say, when Mom says stay out of the cookies, I want a cookie even more.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone said I can't have it. So what it boils down to is the old covenant, all they had was the commandments. And if you don't obey them, you're going to burn in hell. Well, the new covenant, Jeremiah 31:33, talks about writing the law on our hearts so that we not only fear punishment, we love the law.
Right.
So it comes down to concupiscence. So we all have this tendency. We just got these sinful leanings, desires. Well, we've all been taught as Catholics there's one person that does not, one created human that does not have concupiscence, Our Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right there in the miraculous medal prayer. Pray for us who have recourse to thee. We want to become like you, love the law so much that we no longer have these illicit desires.
So you're saying
so
you're saying bring Our Lady in very quickly to our spiritual lives.
Yeah, I carry miraculous medals around, and I give them that little explanation that she's got something that we didn't have. We're all created humans, but she doesn't have the concupiscence that we have to struggle with. And to me, that's the quick fix. And I feel sorry for our Protestant brothers and sisters that don't realize that direct connection to getting that new covenant love for the law.
I've heard it said now probably 3 times this week, the phrase imitate Mary, become like Jesus. And it's so powerful when I hear that. And, her Immaculate Conception, conceived without original sin, she was obedient in all things. She was humble in all things. And what did God do? God raised her to be in such a powerful position for all of us as our spiritual mother. I mean, when you look at her titles, Queen of Heaven, Queen of Angels. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, it's amazing. And she did it all out of complete obedience to God's will. Doug, you're completely onto something with this, because I noticed that this particular Advent, above all other Advents that I have been alive, there's been a big emphasis in Catholic radio and television to bring the Blessed Mother into Advent every single day. And that's one of the reasons why I had suggested to our listeners to add the joyful mysteries on top of the daily mysteries when you pray the rosary, to bring Our Lady into your spiritual life, to pray the Memorare every single day, to really have an image of Our Lady in our homes prominent. Absolutely, Doug. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think she is our definite role model for obedience and in a beautiful, godly way. I appreciate it so much, Doug. I love that you're carrying those miraculous medals and handing them out. You're amazing. And I just wish for you a very, very blessed Advent. And thanks for calling in. That was a very powerful call. We're going to get to Cheryl next, but I want to just remind a couple of the listeners here that a few of you called in. Marie from California and Debbie from New Bedford, Massachusetts. If you want to call back, please do so. We'll push you to the front of the line. You dropped off somehow, and I don't want to miss you. I have a room to take you right away if you'd like to call back. And I wanted to share this because I thought this was very powerful from the Knights of Columbus. And this comes in from Michael on YouTube. And Michael said, obedience is one of the watchwords of the Knights of Columbus: fraternity, charity, obedience, patriotism. I love that. My husband, Marty, is a 4th degree Knight of Columbus. Jerry Usher is a Knight. My dad was a Knight of Columbus. I love the Knights of Columbus. I think they do a fabulous job. And they're heroes in our community. And they're very quiet, humble heroes that just do really good work. And so they deserve to be thanked. If you have something to say about this, we're talking about why are people so resistant to the word obey, obedience? Why are they defiant? Why do they push back? I'm not going to obey anything. You don't tell me what to obey. That type of attitude. If you have something to say about this, quickly call in at 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We're going to go to our friend Cheryl, and Cheryl's in Phoenix, Arizona on YouTube. I'm waving to you, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Hello, Debbie. A lot of the people do have a problem with that. They're defiant and they choose to be stubborn about it. But if they bother to stop to think about it, is that when us women become nuns and we take the vow of obedience, we must obey and be submissive to the will of God, of what He's asking us. Not just asking of us, but if we bother to look back and think, well, what if His 10 Commandments is to honor the father and mother? Because we go by their rules if we want to live under their house, what we're raised upon, all of our lives. And all the rules of the Catholic Church, we see some people walking on in with shorts cut off and they're ready for barbecues and everything. They don't bother to stop to think that, well, I'm in the house of God. What am I doing being dressed like this? I should obey the Catholic rules, the Catholic teachings, just like I submit myself to obey the Catholic rules, the Catholic teachings when I was confirmed and baptized. A lot of people just like to push that aside and be having their own way, and it doesn't work like that. They're committing sin after sin after sin, even breaking with the 10 Commandments, and they should not be doing that. They should be submissive to God and His will of what we're asking, what He's asking of us.
Sister Cheryl, you're amazing. I totally agree with you. I have to share this with you and our Take Two family. I actually love rules. I love rules. What bothers me is when I don't know what the guidelines are, or what the rules are, the ground rules. That bothers me more. When you're trying to figure things out and going, well, is there any method to this? I mean, what's the plan? I don't like that. I function well when somebody gives me the ground rules or, gives me the parameters, and then I function well. Maybe it's because I did go to Catholic school, sister. I don't know, but I will tell you that I think that, when I meet people, and I'm a free spirit, don't get me wrong. I'm a free spirit. I do like to be very creative and kind of, go out there and think beyond, my comfort zone and everything like that. But I think things run well when there's a proper order. And we know that from God with the commandments, we know that. But even just generally living in life, when there's order, like I live in a homeowners association, you can relate to this, sister. I live in a homeowners association area we have a lot of those in Arizona. And people will say to me all the time, don't you just want to move out to county land and not have anybody tell you what to do? And I'm like, no, I like that everybody's front lawn looks nice and we don't have weeds in our front lawn, and we pick up the garbage, and I like that. So any comments about that, Cheryl, sister?
Yes. If we bother to compare that with Jesus' rules and His commandments and also His Bible scriptures, we're bothered to start to think, well, people care about us, and so does God. He cares about us by setting these rules up. He loves us very, very much. And people are probably the same way. We don't want our home to catch up on fire or anything. They're caring about our safety, just like Jesus is also caring about our safety. That's why they have these rules. Without the rules, it's going to be chaotic. Heaven knows what we are putting ourselves in danger for. So they must be obeyed.
Yeah, sister, you're right. And then you heard Doug earlier. You look at Our Lady, our spiritual mother, and she was the complete role model for obedience, right? And yet, and so she was obedient to God's will. And what did God do? God elevated her. You look at the saints, those that were truly obedient in so many ways. Padre Pio being one of those extreme people that walked and was very obedient to his authority. qualities. And you look at other saints. What does God do? God gives them spiritual gifts and raises them up. You look at Blessed Carlo Acutis, who was only 15 years old. He was extremely obedient. And what did God do? He raised him up. So there is such an incredible strength and power and freedom when we are obedient to God. What do you say to that?
Exactly. Just like St. Faustina, when she had visions of Jesus coming to her, Jesus was completely stubborn and telling St. Faustina, well, I need you to paint me this way. I'm not going to bend. No way. I need you to paint me this way. I trust in you. If we didn't trust in Jesus without those rules or anything, we're all going to be led to Satan, heaven help us. No, we need to be elevated to Jesus Christ. Without Jesus being stubborn towards us or anything else like that, we're going to be left to, excuse the expression, we're going to be left to damnation. We can't have that.
No. I agree, and we got to get people in the right frame of mind to travel in this way, and hopefully we're on a good path. I think that there's been a lot of prayers in the world, and I think a lot of people are making reparations and really doing the proper fasting and things, and we're seeing that people are trying to right this ship, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So, sister, thank you so much. I love you to pieces, and have a blessed Advent, and please tell all the other sisters as well. And thank you for weighing in on this topic. Wow, that was so powerful from Sister Cheryl. So I wanted to now share with our listeners about Podcast Central, To Become Family. That's the title of the podcast. Another great podcast on EWTN's Podcast Central is To Become Family. Renzo and Monica know marriage isn't easy. They try to bring the wisdom of Catholicism into everyday situations and conversations about marriage and family life. You can hear this and other faith-filled podcasts at EWTN's Podcast Central. All you have to do is visit EWTN.com/radio and click on Podcast Central today. Okay, so we have a few more minutes left. I wanted to share this. If you want to quick squeeze a call in, I can grab another call. Everybody else kind of dropped off. I think you waited till the end, and maybe you'll come back in on the unscripted show at the end of December, and that's fine. But if you'd like to quickly pick up the phone and speak to Matt, he can put you on air pretty fast at 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. And I just got this message that came in from one of our listeners about the fact that I tend to be justice oriented, and that is true. I am very much a justice type person, and I don't like when people break the rules and get away with it. It bothers me greatly, especially if I'm going to wait in line for 45 minutes and somebody else, cuts in front of the line and is the squeaky wheel and gets what they want. And I'm like, hey, that's not fair. I am very justice oriented. So thank you for noticing that, because that's, yeah. And I don't like to see people get hurt. Like if I see somebody doing the right thing and somebody else is really being difficult to work with and to be around, and I see this innocent person kind of being targeted, it bothers me greatly. It probably comes from I worked in the service industry, the restaurant, hotel, restaurant, hospitality industry, and I had some great mentors, and they really taught me well on how to serve properly and to really keep everything fair. And that's a good thing. And so that's probably where I get that from. Plus, I went to Catholic school. Have I told you that lately? Brittany on YouTube, I'm waving. To Jennifer's point, I believe behind not wanting to obey can be fear and pride. It takes vulnerability to be able to obey our Lord. Yes, you have to. Yes, that's a good point. Okay, so you have to be vulnerable to really be able to trust, to free fall into God's arms, to know that God is in control and God's got our back, and He's going to take care of us. We know that from Scripture. So you have to really be open, be vulnerable, be trusting, be loving. All the things that are going to allow you to open up. That is very true. That's a very very good point, because if we are closed off and we're in complete survival mode or fear, it is going to put up those walls where we're going to say, no one is going to tell me what to do. You stay outside, get away from, don't put your thoughts in my view. I can take care of myself. So you're absolutely right. You do have to open up a bit. Okay, so you hear the music. I wanted to thank the show team. Michael, again, happy birthday, Michael. And Matthew, you did a great job on the phones. Ace on social media, just fine job. Thank you to all the affiliates that carry the program live. You're allowing all of us to come together and share our lived experiences. Tomorrow, I want you to tell us your Advent traditions in your family. Come on, your Advent traditions in your family. I want to hear all about them tomorrow. And until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you real soon.